I'm obsessed with this idea. Now, unlike my last brilliant idea, which after an hour of flailing turned out to be a terrible idea, this one's for real. To be clear, using a state machine to parse keystrokes is not a terrible idea. That is a brilliant idea. What's not a brilliant idea is writing that state machine by hand, which is what we were trying to do last time. That's what parser generators are for. You write your grammar in a nice, pretty syntax, and then the parser generator generates a state machine to handle it. And the reason you do that is because the state machines that you need in order to process text for any interesting grammar turn out to be fairly complex, because the problem is that at each step, you might not know which path down the grammar you're taking. So the states don't actually correspond to things that you intuitively think about. They correspond to a superposition of multiple possible states, like a non-deterministic finite automaton. That's the more natural representation. And we were trying to write a DFA. Either way, you don't want to write either of them by hand. You want to use a parser generator and just write a grammar. And I'm going to show you how that works. And to prove that this is actually a good idea this time, I am going to set myself a challenge to implement 6 new features for Cursorless keyboard using this new grammar in under an hour. So we're going to be implementing and, every, 2 funcs, 3 funcs, that counts as one. Round, so pairs, round wrap, so wrapping with pairs, and first token or last line or third line, right? So the goal is going to be to implement all 6 of those in under an hour. And in that hour, I'm also going to show you how this thing works. So let's have a quick look at how you define these things. So there's a bunch of infrastructure I put in place to make it work, but when you're actually now going forward defining new grammar element by keyboard, there's 4 files you need to care about, and the most important of which is the actual grammar file itself. Cross list.grammar, scratcher word grammar, clap, drowse. Okay, so this is a grammar file. And so you can see here, these are the top level commands in the keyboard grammar, okay? So you can see all of these starting with main, these are the top level commands. And so for example, if let's looking at this one right here, right? From main, if you press a keystroke corresponding to an action, it performs the action. If you press a keystroke corresponding to VSCode command, it performs that command. So what are the keystrokes? These are these things defined in the config like they were before. Cross, show settings JSON. Drowse. So you can see here, right, we have like, so actions would be these, right? So if you just press one of these keys, then you can see, so this right here, percent simple action, those roughly correspond to these sections here. We'll get into that in more detail, right? So these percent things, those are tokens, right? Terminals in the grammar. And these correspond to keystrokes, right? So if you, so let's pop this up. Debug stench. Keydog. Drowse. Okay, right, so we pop into Cursorless keyboard mode, right? And if we press one of the keyboard shortcuts, so let's see, so looking here, right? So one of these top level commands is main goes to decorated mark. So notice here, in addition to these top level commands, we have these lower level captures, which are these nice little reusable components in our grammar, which we can use anywhere, right? So one of them is decorated mark. And basically that breaks down into either a color or a shape, or this new combine color shape keystroke, right? You can see here, combine color shape is FX, followed by color, followed by a shape, or followed by shape, followed by color, right? And so notice, so for example, let's see, so if I do a color, then it's going to target that color, right? And ask me for what key. So here, if I do D, right? That has executed the target decorated mark replace with that color. And now I'm just going to type a letter and it selects that, right? And then if I type any of these actions, like let's say set selection after, that's AL. So AL, great. That goes ahead and does this. So if you have a look at let's maybe put some debug output to make this a bit clearer. Pop sesh. List doc modal. choosing to, Zen mode, page down, drowse. Okay, so let's log this token, and then when we actually go to execute something, let's go ahead and log the thing that we execute. And just for fun, let's log where this next token types thing. Okay, pour green kick, snip debug JSON, bring green kick, disk. Pour boltplex, snip debug JSON, bring boltplex. Drink pink urge. Nope. Blast. Drink pink urge, snip debug JSON, bring value red ink. Disk. Debug restart, many brick. Drowse. I'm using up my precious time here, but I think it'll help if you understand what's going on. Pop sesh. Debug console, many brick. Drowse. Okay, so see that again with a bit of debug output, right? So key dog. Drowse. Okay, so when I pressed D, you can see, right, the token that came in, right, it was, the type of the token was a color, right? And the color was default. And then the actual next token types, you can see once I've pressed a color, there's nothing that can come after it because it's a complete command in and of itself. And the parser result was target, decorate, and replace. The color was default. Cool. So, and then when I did, all right, so I did D, and then let's do X. So I have this targeted, and now I want to insert, let's do a more complex one, which has multiple steps. Yeah, so here's a complex one. Just to show off the power of this thing, we actually have a grammatical construct here, which is more powerful than so we don't support this grammatical construct in our spoken grammar, and I just wanted to see like how powerful is it. This was easy to do. We can do like third next two funcs, right? In our spoken grammar, we can do third next func or next two funcs. We can't combine them, but here we're not worried about ambiguity. Super easy to do. So for example, so if I type 3, okay, so you can see the token was type digit value 3, and then n. Oh wait, why isn't it printing? Pop sesh. Drowse. Why isn't it printing next token types? Oh, right. Yeah, okay, this was after it's done. So carve state red look. Sling after state green air. Disk. Bring green air to two views red near. Disk. Debug restart many brick. Drowse. Okay, so I press 3. Okay, cool. And so you can see here, the token that came in was type digit. The value is 3. Makes sense, right? And then acceptable token types. So the cool thing now, right, is it can actually, based on the real state of the parser, after I give it that token, 3, it can tell me what possible things could come after it. I don't have to think about it. It figures it out, right? I could do another digit if I want to do like 32 or something. I could do a direction. So if I want to go backwards or forward, by default it's forwards. Or I can type relative, which will say next. Okay? And what's even crazier is it can actually, it fills out the partial argument for me, right? So it knows that like, okay, relative, he already typed 3, so the number is 3, right? So we could do, again, we could use this sidebar thing since it's already there. And we could have a keyboard interface that says at any given moment in time exactly what you press and what action would get executed if you pressed that. Okay, so I press N, right? And so now you can see what came in was token, type was relative, right? So this N is relative, so it's for next, right? And then let's do 3 again. So you can see here, third, right? So the partial arg is 3 is the offset and 3 is the length and its relatives. And so now what is it waiting for? It's waiting for either another digit or a scope type, right? So I can do line for the scope type line. I do that, great. Third, next 3 lines, right? So it's 3 down and then it takes 3 lines. Fairly complex grammar, trivial to define. Okay, so without further ado, let's actually start implementing some of these things. Right, pop sesh, Zen mode, cross, drowse. Okay, let's put this debug stuff into a commit right here, and then we'll get rid of it at the end. Git status, git commit, add some debug output, disclose, Zen mode, cross, tab blast, tab next, cross, tab blast, drowse. Okay, first order business, and, all right? Pop blast, drowse. Okay, I already implemented past, right? So you can say like air past bat. And so I'm going to implement air and bat. So this one should be an easy one. We're starting with a gimme, right? And look how this is defined, right? So you can see make range is the keyboard shortcut that's going to say, is going to be past. So this is going to be make list, okay? Take second sub gust, clone block, proud list. Clear air, word and. Disk. Drowse. Okay. And so the action here was target. See, this is target decorated mark replace, right? So it takes whatever you press. And if for example, I press like, let's pop to the voice mode, menu brick, drowse. So if I do D-O and then I do D-X, notice it's replacing, right? It's just whatever it was, it's replacing it with it, right? Key dog, drowse. But with extend, right? So I can do make range, right? So FK. So if I do make range followed by a decorated mark, then instead of doing replace, it'll do extend, right? So now I have Y selected. So if I do the make range, FK, right? And now it's waiting for a color. So I do D and then O, and you can see it makes a range between the two. Cool. All right. So what we want to do is and, okay? Pop sesh, drowse. Okay, so instead of extend, it's going to be, what is it? Cross, pop doc targeted, drowse. It's going to be, okay, the mode can either be replaced, falling brow gust, drowse, or extend or append, right? Because it's appending to a list. Clear last sub oats, proud append, disk, drowse. Okay, we've now defined the rule. Great. Now we need to actually implement the, so each one of these corresponds to a method in the command handler, right? And this corresponds to the object payload that's coming in. Let's see what that looks like. Cross, popdoc command handler, drowse. Okay, so the ones we already have here, right? Target decorated mark replace. And you can see here, right? So the way this works is we're defining a command, and this is the name of the method that gets called. And then these, they need to have the same number as these. And they determine where it goes on the object payload that comes in as an argument here. Null means I don't care about it, right? Make range, all it's doing is signaling to the parser via the lexer, hey, look, what's coming? I'm going to make a range out of it, but I don't actually need any information off this payload. Here, I need information off the decorated mark, right? And so the decorated mark is here, it has a color and or a shape, right? And so you can see it's a similar sort of pattern there. Okay, great. So decorated mark comes in, and then I just call it target decorated mark. So what we're going to need to do is instead of mode extend, we'll just do mode append. Take last sub greenplex, clone func, proud append. Clear last sub, proud append. Bring last sub to plex, form camel at that. Disk. Drowse. Okay, we've implemented the handler side of it. And now let's make sure, so we need to make sure that this is a valid token that's coming in. These are the actual token terminals. Cross. Tab next. Drowse. Okay, right. So this is the third important file here, right? We've seen the grammar. We've seen the thing that actually implements the handler that actually does the calls. And then now, so we've kind of seen like the grammar, which is in the middle. And then we've seen sort of the endpoint, which is actually doing the handling and execution. Now let's look at the beginning where we define the tokens that make up the actual primitives of the grammar, the atoms, if you will, of the parser. And so you can see here, we have make range. We don't have make list. Okay, so that's easy. Take last sub kick, clone line, proud list, disk. Drowse. Okay, the reason it's undefined here is because, as I was mentioning before, there's no payload really with make range. All we care about is what type of token it is so that we can tell the parser what's going on here, right? With other ones, there's a payload, like with direction, it's forward or backward. Here, there's no payload. Okay, and so that's the token type. And then we need to define, these are the actual config sections. Cross. Show settings JSON. Drowse. See actions, colors, scopes, actions, colors, scopes. All this is doing is saying, look, this section of config, right? These are the type of things we expect in that config section, okay? That's what this map does. And you can see here we have one, we put it in MISC, right? Make range, so make list, already in there. Cool. And then finally, we need to define how we go from here, from this config section, to extract the actual tokens, which are going to be expected by the parser. And that's the final file in the picture here. Cross. Tab next. Nope. Yes, indeed. Drowse. Okay, right. This is the final piece of the picture. Notice we have a type error here. That's good, because what it's saying is it's missing make list. Cool. That's what we want because we added it. And so it's telling us, look, you need to define where it comes from. Okay, and it's the same as make range. It comes from MISC, and we just have whatever key is mapped to make list in there. Take two views, last sub, ears made, clone line, proud list, disk. Drowse. Okay. Record rest. Drowse. I almost thought I killed the recording. Debug restart. Many brick. Drowse. Okay. I took the liberty of actually adding a keyboard shortcut there for that. So don't count that against my time. Maybe I'm cheating. Okay. So let's type, okay, D-O, key dog drowse. Okay, so now we have Fox selected there, and we want to also add that, right? So we'll do FL, pop sesh, debug console, many brick, drowse. Okay, so FL, right? Cool. We got a make list token. Yep, make list token. Cool. Acceptable token types is either going to be a color or a shape, or combine color and shape. That seems pretty reasonable, right? So let us just do a color. So we'll do D, okay? And now we do P. All right, we have and working. So we do FL, D, Y. Cool, and then if I do like I, selects those lines. Cool, right? This is starting to feel a bit more like Cursorless. So, all right, one. Cool. Another cool thing, by the way, is because it has this functionality where at each stage, we know exactly what possible token types there are. We construct a keyboard layer on the fly at that moment in time. And we have optimizations, like I mentioned wanted last time, where you can drop the first letter if there's no conflicts, because the only thing that can possibly come is shape. So for example, when we do combine color and shape, FX, right? So you can see now the only things that can happen now are a shape or a color. So for example, even though, for example, do we have something which would be a conflict like E or Y? Yeah, Y, right? So notice Y is supposed to be yellow. Oh, but that would be a conflict. Do we have something that would be a conflict with a shape? just to make sure this works. X, F, yeah, X, right? So in theory, X, we couldn't just type X here because that would conflict with that. But because the only thing can happen is a shape, it's perfectly happy and it knows that the shape's X. So that's kind of cool, right? And that piece was like 5 lines to implement. Okay, cool. Enough yammering. We have 5 more things to do. Pop sesh. Get status. Drowse. Looking good, looking good, looking good, good, good. Git commit and add and support to keyboard. Disclose. Zen mode. Tab blast. Drowse. Clear core bolt lacquer plex. Disk. Drowse. Okay, let's add every. Tab next. Drowse. Okay, so every, we want it to be an every modifier, right? So there should be a key for that modifier, followed by a scope type. Easy enough. Pre-green pit, clone block. Percy, word every void. Pre-kick, word every. Scratcher, trot every. Disk. Drowse. Okay, so that's the grammar. Done. See how easy it is to define these these grammatical constructs? It's amazing. Parser generators, right? Who'd have thought? Okay, so now we need to add this. One thing to keep in mind here, right, is there's 2 things here. There's 1 thing here. We need to make them match up. We really should have a checker for that. I tried to make things kind of strongly typed, but like it's a bit tough in this world. But there's some typing. Anyways, okay. Drink entry blue oats, make null. Word null. Scratch twice, bring urge, disk, drowse. I need to teach Talon about this file format, that null is a thing. Okay, and this is not target scope type. We'll call it target every scope type. Post first sub each, proud every disk. Drowse. Okay, done grammatically. Let's go implement the action. Cross. Tab next. Drowse. Okay, so target scope type. Instead, it's going to be target every scope type. Post first sub cross air clone func proud every disk. Drowse. Okay, and then let's look at this target scope type. Falling green trap. Drowse. Okay, type is containing scope, and so I think this is going to be every scope. Pop last. Curly wrap gust, pre-source, pebbles. Pour entry. Word type. Yes. Stack void, quad. Jest. Choosing to. Disk, drowse. Thank you. Autocomplete. Okay, we've done the implementation of the action. We've written the grammar rule. Let's make sure that we actually have this as a primitive token. Cross. Tab next. Drowse. Okay, looking at our token types, right? Okay, cool. Modifiers, we only have relative, so let's add every. Post string green risk, pipe, string every. Disk. Drowse. Okay, we've added it to as something that can exist in the section. Fine, and now we need to say how we go from that section to an actual token, which is allowable in our parser. So we need to define that as a type. Here we have relative. Let's just do every. Take vest, clone line, word every disk. Drowse. Okay, and now we should get a type error. Problem next. Drowse. One of the things I loved about strongly typed language is that type errors can take you to your next step. So every is missing. Cool. So let's look at relative and let's add every. Take 2 views, pink vest, clone line, word every disk. Nope. Take 2 views, pink vest, clone line, word every disk. Drowse. Okay. And debug restart, many brick. Pop sesh, debug console, many brick. Drowse. All right. So now if I do pop into keyboard mode, I also took the liberty of adding a keyboard shortcut there. MV is every. So if I do MV, it's every. And what's it expecting? It's expecting a simple token, a scope type. Cool. Let's see what's going on here. If I do, so I did every, and now if I just do, let's say like, let's do a scope type of collection item, comma, because that might be cool. We have every. And so now if we do like set selection after, AL, again, I mean, this is starting to feel like actual proper cursorless, right? It's starting to feel like we have some real power here. And that was pretty easy. Okay, we're on a roll. 2 out of 6. Pop sesh. Git status. Drowse. Right, we added every. This is the generated grammar file. That's the rule. We added every there. Added the actual rule there, the implementation, and popped it in there. Done. Git commit, add every to keyboard interface. Clap. Disk. Disclose. Drowse. Commit message could use a bit to be leaves a bit to be desired. Okay. Zen mode. Tab last. South scratch plex. Disk. Drowse. Okay. 2 funcs, 2 tokens, 3 lines, that kind of thing. I use it all the time. Take 2 funcs whale. Take 2 tokens whale. Drowse. Okay. Tab next. Drowse. Okay. What I was thinking for this is basically to just mirror the spoken grammar where if you just type a number and then a scope, then that's it. So you can see here, we have this capture here where if you do a scope type just, then it will be func. Maybe this is a better one to steal from because it has, offset. So an offset is a direction and a number. So let's reuse that because you want to be able to say 3 funcs backward as well. Clone block red made. Clear core plex, word 3 funcs. Phrase 3 funcs. Void square, word backward. Chuck next line. Disk. Drowse. Okay. We don't want to have to do the n. Because that would be 3n to do third next, right? This is just 3 funcs, right? So we get rid of that. We get rid of that as well because you don't need an extra. It's like not forward and the number. It's just the number. So it's just offset and scope type. Chuck 2 paints look. Chuck 2 entries green urge. Disk. Drowse. And this is no longer optional. So it used to be with this one, like you can leave out the number. If you just do n followed by a scope type, it's just next line or like next func. And if you can add these, this is not optional, right? You have to do like a number. Otherwise it would be grammatically ambiguous with just func, right? And equivalent. Chuck 2 clicks star stack. Disk. Drowse. Okay, and it's not relative exclusive. We actually call this relative inclusive, right? Because it's including your cursor, whereas next excludes your cursor or the input. Clear third sub, blue plex, proud inclusive. Disk. Join round. Disk. Drowse. Okay, cool. Pre-red double scratch, pre-star repper, scratch twice. Disk. Drowse. Sorry, I have to clean up. It's annoying not to have an auto formatter. Another reason we try to keep this file simple. Okay, I think this should work. Debug restart, many brick. Drowse. Oh no, we forgot to implement it, obviously. Pop sesh. Cross. Drowse. Okay, so instead of target relative exclusive, we do inclusive. Take last sub. Take third sub, red plex, clone line, proud inclusive. Nope. Blast. Clone func, proud inclusive. Bring third sub to cross. Bring third sub to play plex. Drowse. Okay, we need to define this thing. Take third sub, blue plex. Clone type, proud inclusive. Chuck line gust. Chuck line play look. Disk. Drowse. Okay, so relative scope. With relative inclusive, we probably should make it a separate scope type. It's not. You just set the offset to 0. Clear value brow oats, num 0. Disk. Drowse. And then we use the number off the offset for the length. Bring paint red oats to red harp. Disk. Drowse. Okay, and we didn't need to introduce any new token types because it's just like offset, which is like a direction optionally and a number, which we already have those. Debug restart. Many brick. Drowse. Okay, so let us, let's see. So if we have this, and let's do, let's say like dv, and then let's do like 3 tokens. So we'll do 3. Pop sesh, debug console, many brick. Drowse. I kind of like this. I should probably have like a debug mode where you keep this on because it's actually quite helpful. We already have debug mode in Cursorless, so we can just print it out. So, okay, so if I type, I didn't already type 3, right? So if I type 3, right, okay. So now if you look, there is more acceptable token types, right? You could either type a digit and get relative inclusive, another digit get relative exclusive, right? If we're doing like 32, a direction, which could be either of these. And then if you type the relative keyword like n, then it's going to be relative exclusive. But if you just go straight and type a simple scope type, it's relative inclusive. And this is going to be super helpful if we had a sidebar. Would be great if we had a sidebar. You could just put this in there, and then we could show you, look, if you type, these are the keys you can type, and if you type this key, that's the action that you're moving towards in the grammar, and then just guide you along the way, which is super cool. You can't do that by voice. So there's like definitely pros and cons to voice versus keyboard. There's, I think it's going to be harder to try and teach your fingers such a complex grammar, but we can help you with visual aids as you're going, whereas with voice, it's harder to stop. Talon doesn't hear you until the end of a command. So pros and cons. Okay, fine. So we typed 3, and now we want tokens, so we can do 3 tokens, right? What's token is ST. I wonder if we can just press T, because token is like one of the, is like, you know, like we have a limited grammar here. So let's try it. So if I just type T, haha, right? All I do is press 3T, and that's 3 tokens. And then, you know, I can do like, pretty cool. Again, another cursorless feature, which I use all the time. Okay, cool. 3 down. Pop sesh. Git status. Drowse. This was an easy one, right? Added this, so this is the generated grammar. Here's the grammatical construct. Super easy, and just a little handler. Okay. All right. Git commit. Add 3 funcs to keyboard. Disclose. Cross. Tab last. Zen mode. Clear core lacquer. Plex. Disk. Drowse. Okay, they're getting a little bit harder now. Let's add surrounding pair. Okay, let's give that a whirl. This is going to require us adding a new config section, so getting a bit more ambitious here. Tab next. Drowse. So let's start off by adding this config section, okay? Tab last. Tab last. Prefile. Drowse. Okay, so this is going to be paired delimiters. So poor star oats, camel paired delimiters, stack void. Proud paired. Scratcher. Word pair. Drowse. What's the name of these things? Cross. List doc partial. Clap. Drowse. Okay, cool. Yeah. So here's the part. Here's our this defines our API surface. So right, surrounding pair scope type is the actual scope type, and these delimiters are called surrounding pairs, right? So surrounding pair name. That's what we're looking for. Bring spun to star pit. Cross. Disk. Drowse. Okay. We're not super consistent with this naming, but this is what we use Talon side, and I think it's probably a better name because it's not just about surrounding, it's the pairs themselves. Okay, fine. So, and then this config section, notice some of these, there's interesting things going on where we like pull them out one by one. This is not like that. I think we just, well, in the future we might want to get, because you can't wrap with, we'll use the same thing for both wrapping and for selecting surrounding pairs, right? Like square wrap air versus take square air. So, and you can't wrap with any, but let's not worry about that for now. It'll just be like maybe a little bit more powerful than it should be, or like, allow you to do one or two things you shouldn't be able to. I think it's okay for now. Copy line. Sling after line, green vest. Drowse. And notice these are singular, right? Because the token is a color, but the actual section is plural. Is that a good idea? I don't know. But I think it is what it is. Chuck last car, pink pit. Disk. Drowse. Okay, so now we have this. Here, and it's angry now. Fine. Tab next. Drowse. Okay, and so you can see here, it's like these where we're just going straight from a section into a token. So this should be an easy one. Take 3 views, just ears vest, clone line, camel paired delimiters. Scratch. Disk. Drowse. The reason I used just there is because if I said take view, if you do instance with this and you leave it as a token, it would have skipped this because this is not a complete token of VS Code command. If you do just, then it's just looking for the characters, right? So I wanted to include that in that way. Anyways, okay, cool. So now we have our token. Great. Now let's build some grammar out of it. Tab last. Drowse. Okay, we can use this for two things, right? We can use it both for selecting a surrounding pair and for wrapping. Let's start with selecting a surrounding pair. So you can see here we have a definition of scope type. And so anywhere we can use a scope type, we want to be able to use a pair. Cool. So let's just add a new production rule for scope type. Take bolt look, clone line, camel paired delimiter. Disk. Drowse. Okay, and so this one is a little more complex, a bit annoyingly. So you can actually put full-fledged JavaScript in here. Again, I try not to for a couple of reasons, one of which is just we don't have strong types here. We don't have auto correct. We don't autocomplete. We don't have auto format. So in a world like that, I want to write as simple code as possible. But sometimes it's useful to write JavaScript because here, instead of just doing like type colon func, it's going to be, the way these payloads look is its type is surrounding pair, and then it has an extra field for delimiter, right? So let's just build that. They look kind of like this inside. Bring pink lacer, pass green racer to tail box lacer. Disk. Drowse. The reason I had to do that kind of annoying thing is because for some reason pairs aren't working here yet, which I need to look into because pairs should work everywhere. Ironically, we're building pairs and they don't work in this this grammar. Okay, so let's do. So this is not digits. These come in as a list, right? So we'll do clear green gust word delimiter. Disk. Tail void round curly word type stack void bring string oats spam. Scratch spam. Yes. Take start of box York and end of box look, void. Nope. Pre-box York. Post this and cross look, void. Drowse. Working in these like adding white space is something I'm terrible at because I usually have auto formatters. Chuck trailing box York. Drain, void. Flay. Chuck last car leading, cross look. Disk. Chuck next line. Disk. Drowse. Never work in a language without an auto formatter. I'm telling you. Okay, I think this is good because now we should be able to press any paired delimiter, and we already have a rule which says if you just press a scope type, then it will just expand a surrounding pair. Technically, because scope types have not yet been migrated to the next gen, all these other ones won't actually work. But I think let's keep it in the grammar anyways for now. Okay, let's try it. Debug restart. Drowse. And we don't need to implement anything because basically this will just come in to the thing that already implements target scope type. Many brick. Drowse. Okay, so in theory, again, I already mapped something for this. I think I already made a section for this. Paired delimiters? Yes. Okay, cool. XA is any, right? So this is the paired delimiter which selects it's like it doesn't care, is it curly, quad, whatever, right? We can add some more specific ones for like parentheses, etc. For now, let's just say pair. This is equivalent of take pair. Okay, so let's do this. We'll do it should be just XA, right? Cool. We have surrounding pair. So that helps a lot with like, I mean, that's something I use all the time, surrounding pairs, right? So yeah, we can start to combine these things, right? Like let's do like every line within here, right? So like MV is for every, I is for line, and then AL. So that was post every line pair. Starting to sound like Cursorless. So, okay, cool. Pop sesh. Get status. Drowse. So let's see, how onerous was that one? We added this little rule here. We added a new, how do we map from the config section to the token type? We added a new section. We added a new token type. Trivial. Git commit, add paired delimiters to keyboard. Disclose. Z mode. Tab blast. South scratch plex. Disk. Drowse. Okay, round wrap. Another useful one, right? So this is an action, but using the same surrounding pairs. So obviously we don't need to add a new token type or config section. We already have those. So this is just going to be a matter of implementing the grammar rule and then going and constructing the cursorless payload and running it. Tab next. Drowse. Okay, so let us put it with the action, right? So this will be like round wrap. Take green kick, clone block. Phrase round wrap. Clear play spun word wrap. Clear play spun word wrap. Disk. Drowse. Okay, yeah, we're going to make sure to have a special token for that, right? And so I think, so note, okay, so these grammars are not allowed to be ambiguous. Unlike Talon, Talon's a bit happy to handle ambiguity. I've made it so we don't allow ambiguity here. Is it a good idea? I don't know. Makes my life easier as an implementer. In addition, you're not even allowed to have it be ambiguous as to whether the command is over, right? So we show you an error, because what I wanted to do is make it so as soon as you finish typing something that is a valid command, it executes it, right? Otherwise, if we made it so like with Talon, where there's a speech timeout where you can say chuck func or chuck func air, right? It uses the pause to figure out whether you're going to put air. With this, I don't want to have any pauses. Again, something we can revisit quite easily. But for now, as soon as it's a valid rule, it executes it. And if there's any possible continuations, it throws an error just so we can catch these things as we go. Cool. So, which means we can't just type a surrounding pair first. That has to be second, because otherwise it'd be ambiguous whether you're selecting it or you wrapping with it. Cool. Void. Bring paint blue pit. Disk. Drowse. Okay, fine. Wrap, paired delimiter. Okay, this is going to be perform wrap action on target. Clear second sub, ears look, proud wrap. Disk. Drowse. Okay, this is going to be null because we don't need that as part of our payload. We know we're doing wrapping because that's the action. Bring wing urge before entry red air. Clear red air, word delimiter. Disk. Drowse. Wish I had an auto formatter. Okay. Break green cap. Tab. Break play Percy. Disk. Scratcher. Disk. Drowse. Okay, these match up. This is going to delimiter, so we just need to implement this thing, and it'll get a delimiter, and then we'll do the stuff. Cross. Pop last. Drowse. Okay, so right. So perform simple action. This is going to be perform wrap action. Bring pink pit. Take gust, clone funk, bring pink pit. Clear two views air, word delimiter. Scrape. Clear ears bat. Cross, pop last. Pop last. Bring pink urged. Cross, bring pink urge. Disk. Drowse. Okay, here's our delimiter. And I guess we'll just add something new on this targeted interface, right? This is the thing that handle, because like targeted is like the way we're doing things where you're like building up a target that you operate on and then you perform an action on it, right? And so there's this targeted handler which handles that. So we'll just add something on there. I think, because this I think is designed for simple act. Is it falling near? Drowse. Yeah, this is just designed for simple actions. Yeah, cool. Pop last. Drowse. We could maybe do a more complex one, but for now, let's just add perform wrap action, I think. Post first sub, proud wrap. Disk. Copy click. Bring look to ink. Disk. Falling this. Pop next. Drowse. I feel like we should rename this to perform simple action. And then like, really we should just, yeah. Okay, this is probably fine for now. Yeah, okay, cool. Clone block funk. Post first sub, fine. Proud simple. Nope. Proud wrap. Clear near, word delimiter. Bring star spot. Bring pink urge to type. Disk. Drowse. Okay, and so it's going to be, yeah, we don't need, yeah, like I feel like we should factor this into something that executes it. Yeah, we should probably factor that out. How are we doing on time? Do I have time to factor that out? Focus OBS. Drowse. Ooh, it's tight. All right, let's do it. Coder. Blast. Clone block funk. Post first sub fine, proud simple. Disk. Poor wing risks, snip con action. Nope. Blast. Sniplet type action. Proud action. Yes. Next. Drowse. Right, so ideally we want the target to get constructed by this as well. And then we would ask it for the payload, right? So I think we probably want clear core plate each. Camel construct action payload. Scratcher, camel construct action. Swallow, camel construct action payload. Stack void. Round. Bring two alphas cross risk. Push. Dub arrow. Proud action. Clap. Disc. Disc. Drowse. Okay. And then chuck line wing air disc. Drowse. Okay. And then we basically say bring state ink to cross urge. Post brow near make const. Nope. Drain make const. Clear curly brow made. Bring wing air round. Bring value green trap. Disc. Chuck state green trap. Chuck state blue whale. Disc. Flay. Extract curly blue York. Word action. Clap. Disc. Post hole ink stack void bring wing made disc. Bring whole ink to each, post that point word name. Disc. Scratcher jest. Scratch. Extract ears near. Extract apple. Word hello. Clap. Bring value whole ink to just cross ink. Chuck state source. Rename each word action. Clap. Post star near point word name. Nope. Crossed. Post star near point word name. Disc. Drowse. Okay. Now we're cooking with gas. Right. So then we just here we just do pour vest. Make return. Make self point. Bring fine. Scratcher. Jest. Word perform. Clap. Round. Chuck second sub play pit. Snip lambda block. Word target next. Move state blue whale. Chuck state ears near. Chuck line vest. Chuck tail core ink. Chuck tail core ink. Scratch. disk. From core play whale, clear every view, play whale. Head. Swallow. Make return. Tug. From core, chuck every view. From core, chuck line every view, cross kick. Disk. Drowse. Okay. Cool. So now we can call this with something more sophisticated. Copy blue ink. Pop last. Chuck second sub. Clear each. Snip lambda target. Curly clap. Jest. Yes. Stack void. Quad. Jest. Word wrap. Yes. Pour entry. Jest. Yes. Spam. Jest. Drowse. Ah, we need our delimiter maps. Oh, that's annoying. Yeah, because we have here just the paired delimiter, the name of it. Do we have delimiter maps? Are they exposed from the engine? I'm not sure that they are. We're drink risk. Snip con square, word left, spam word right. Pre-cross semi. Word delimiter. Jest. Scratcher. Cross. Pop-doc delimiter map. Drowse. Right. Okay. So we need this, which, oh, I think we list doc. Word spoken. Bar explore. List doc generate. Choosing 4. Falling box kick. Scout dock delimiter. Falling air. Falling kick. Zen mode. Bar explore. Drowse. I know it's in here somewhere. Where is it? Modifiers. Yeah, here we go. Okay, yeah, we have a nice little map here, which is not exported, but maybe let's export it. It's kind of nice. Disk. Pre-blue cap, make export. Disk. Quick fix state. Disk. Falling spun. Doc copy relative. List doc index. Void word engine. Clap. Take blue urge, clone line, paste that. Scratch 3 times. Chuck 3 alphas, green kick. Chuck first sub, pink stroke. Chuck green cap. Chuck first two cars red stroke. Disk. Falling this. Cross. Bring urge. Just. Square. Square. Bring look. Disk. Drowse. Right, because it needs to be a speakable surrounding pair name. Oh, we should reuse speakable surrounding pair name. Do we want to use that? Yeah, because I think we don't want any of the internal ones anyways. So is this exposed? Bring air to near. Imports fix. Nope. Blast. Disk. Drowse. Okay. Let's not worry about this for now. I think we're running out of time. Are you going to be able to get this one out? We're at an hour. Okay, let's implement this one. I got too ambitious with making the code too clean. Okay. Bring entry blue look and ping harp after blue gust. Nope. Bring entry blue look and pink harp after blue gust. Disk. Make cast, make any. Scratcher. Word any. Disk. Drowse. Why is this not working? Or null. Okay. Push, bang. Disk. Drowse. I cast it as any. What do you want from me? Okay. I think we're fine with that type checker. All right, let's run this thing. Let's see if it works. Debug restart. Many brick. Drowse. Okay, so let's add, we need square brackets here, or curly brackets. Take blue York, clone line, camel curly brackets. Head, push twice. Drill. Cap. Disk. Drowse. Okay, let's wrap this in curlies. DW. Okay, we've got that targeted. And we want to do wrap. Oh, we didn't make a wrap action. Take green bat, clone entry, word wrap. Scrape. Clear last car, first alpha. Whale. Disk. Drowse. Okay. Moment of truth. DC, targeting that one. And we do AW. What do you mean unknown key sequence AW? Oh, wait. Oh, wait, what? No, yeah, that should be fine. Actions. Oh, did we not tell how to extract it? Pop last. Drowse. Oh, right. Okay, so I think it's in the action list already, but we need to make it an actual token, obviously. So take box look, clone line. Clear first sub, word wrap. Clear type, string wrap. Scratcher. Scratch. Make undefined. Disk. Drowse. Because it doesn't have a value we care about. List doc. Drowse. I think get token type maps, what we want there. And it's going to be get singular section entry. Pour entry blue ink. Bring entry brow kick. Chuck line cross made. Chuck leading line. Clear two views play kick word wrap. Bring red air to brow cap. disk. Post green whale, scratcher. Jest. Disk. Drowse. Actions, I thought we made drowse. Yeah, it should be supporting wrap here. Pop blast. Drowse. Get singular section entry. Oh, right. Right. Oh, because it's going to be in there as wrap, but we're calling it wrap action here. So let's just call it wrap. Chuck last sub. Disk pop last. Chuck last sub whale. Disk. Pop next. Drowse. Okay, it's happy now. Kind of prefer to call this wrap action and wrap here, but it's okay. Debug restart. Many brick. Drowse. Okay, moment of truth. It's still under an hour if you don't count me yammering at the beginning. It's like I tried to make it so pretty in the middle and ended up having to make it ugly at the end. All right, so DG. All right, cool. And then we're going to do wrap, which should be AW. Okay. Moment of truth. What did we do, curly? I should be able to just press C because only thing that can come now should be curly brackets. Ah, yes, we did it. Okay. All right. So we got 5 in borderline and under an hour, depending on how you do your accounting. Pretty good. Yeah, I guess I can't claim victory, but if we're comparing it to the last video, I mean, resounding success. Anyways, thank you so much for watching. We're going to be slowly rolling out some of these features. It's still super experimental, and so we'll start rolling them out so people can play with them, but expect them to break, change, etc. But it's fun to get these things to keyboard, and if nothing else, I'm just having fun writing a parser. So thank you so much for watching, and happy coding. Record stop.